Hi, I'm Bryson, and as many of you know, I had a crazy childhood, which would probably explain why I'm like this. Anyway, please enjoy a compilation of some of my craziest childhood stories that haven't affected my adult life negatively at all.
Hi, I'm Bryson, and today I'm going to talk about the times I got hurt and then my entire nervous system went. Luckily, I've never broken a bone, though. Wow, Bryson, you've never broken a bone? Your pain is irrelevant, you stupid idiot. Although I've never broken a bone, I've still experienced a wide range of physical pain. For example, one time I was holding a big PVC pipe and I threw it on the ground and it ricocheted back and hit my funny bone at Mach 10. It felt like an electrical fire on my arm. I hereby vote for the removal of funny bones from the human body because all it causes is pain. On second thought, why not remove all bones? Can't break what isn't there. Another time, I fell down face first while snowboarding and I scorpioned so hard that the bottom of my snowboard hit the back of my head. See that? Your back isn't supposed to do that. That causes a lot of ouchy feelings.
Oh, my back!
Now let's move on to the big ones. The ones that reminded me of my mortality. The ones where life went, this kid has had it too good for too long. Time to remind him who's in charge. Okay, number one. I was sitting on top of my bunk bed zoning out when my mom called me. I decided that to save time, I would forego using the ladder and just jump off the top bunk. Little did I know the fan was going at top speed. It was so fast that I didn't even see it. So I jumped and... It happened so fast that I didn't even feel it at first, but I reached up to check the damage and then I saw the blood. Mom? What's up, honey? I'm losing blood at an alarming rate and would be most grateful if you, my caregiver and guardian, would transport me to the hospital to help heal the wounds so that I can continue this mortal journey rather than ending it prematurely due to loss of blood. Nah, I'm kidding. What I actually said was... This other time, me and my brothers were bonding with Dad. How? Dad would pull down the basketball hoop, let one of us grab on, and then he'd let go and it would slingshot us into the air. Obviously. Anyway, I could see my brothers doing it and I wanted to turn. Okay, 3, 2, 1. My head slammed into the basketball rim, and that's naturally where my memory stops. My parents say that it scalped me a little bit and that I have a little bald spot. However, I have so much hair that neither I nor my parents have ever been able to find this so-called bald spot. I guess it's not there after all. This other time I was really young and my older brother was in an argument with Mom. Now, being in my family, you learn to tune things out because yelling and screaming and fighting is all commonplace. Don't worry, we make up afterwards. But anyways, as Mom and Brody were arguing, I was all like, wow, this door hinge looks pretty cool. I should put my fingers in there. Just then, the argument came to a climax and Brody slammed the door shut as hard as he could. Onto my fingers. My fingers bent every which way. They looked like rubber. We went to the doctor, and surprisingly, nothing was broken. When you're really young, your bones are still soft and springy, and that's why they didn't break. Also, that's why some babies need to wear helmets, because otherwise, you might accidentally sculpt their soft head into a cone, like this. Okay, last story. One time, I was just chilling in my room with my brothers. We had a punching bag hanging under one of the loft beds, and we would take turns tackling it. It was my turn, and the punching bag was swinging. But I was too young to understand how momentum worked. So I dove for it, it swung out of the way, and my face slammed into the wall. I was taken to the hospital, and as my mom tells me, the doctors had to clean the wound, but I wouldn't let them for some reason. So they put me in a straitjacket, and I screamed, "Stop touching me! Stop touching me! Do you speak English? Stop touching me!" And then they hit me with that good sleep juice.
I'm tired.
Anyway, I got stitches, and now I have a cool scar across my eyebrow. Thank you for taking a trip down memory lane with me. Down memory pain with me. It all hurt a lot. But Bryson, I've never been injured before. Well, we can fix that. How?
Welcome to Hogwarts, students. A magical school that is totally safe all the time.
Ooh.
Mr. Bryson, no flying in the Great Hall.
Don't worry, I can control this broom perfectly fine. Hi, I'm Bryson, and today I want to tell you about all the things I was obsessed with when I was a kid. Let's start with the first one. I was obsessed with trains as a kid, especially Thomas the Tank Engine. Wow, Bryson, trains are stupid. Why don't you play with action figures or something? I used to watch the show, my parents got me the little wooden toys of the trains, and my dad even made me a train table to play with them on. Thomas, look out! There's a child on the tracks! Oh no, his brakes are broken! He can't stop! They are now dead. Thomas is tormented by his actions and turns himself in to the train authorities. Thomas is charged with 1 count of accidental manslaughter and will face 10 years in train prison. Honey, I think Bryson overheard you watching Forensic Files again. I loved Thomas so much that my parents even took me to meet Thomas in real life. See? There he is. Not creepy at all. I love trains so much that I created my own train sona, Bryson the Tank Engine. Choo-choo! That's not true. My favorite part of the show was watching the trains crash. There was one episode where Gordon crashed through a bunch of stuff and basically died. Masterpiece. Also, speaking of the show, I don't approve of the new CG Thomas stuff. Ugh! I only like the original stuff where they used actual model trains and then crashed those model trains into stuff. One time when I was like 3, I was making a crash scene with my trains and I accidentally crashed them a bit too hard and Thomas got a little bit of his paint chipped off. And this bothered me. He was no longer perfect. So what did I do? I flushed him down the toilet, of course. A while later, my parents realized that the toilet was clogged. My parents called a plumber, and after hours of trying, the plumber angrily said, "Ugh, there's nothing I can do. I've never encountered a toilet I can't unclog. You're gonna need to buy a new toilet." So they let the plumber smash the toilet open to see what had clogged it. It was a big wad of toilet paper, and at the center was my Thomas train. So we got a new toilet, and I got a new Thomas. Imagine being a plumber and having your perfect record broken by none other than Thomas the Tank Engine. My heart goes out to that guy. Anyways, a while later, Thomas got chipped again, so obviously, I flushed it again. Bryson! Fortunately, my dad managed to fish that one out, and he said to my mom, "Maybe you should get him a toy that he can't flush." Also, do you think we should spank him? Yes. Okay, on to the next obsession. Harry Potter, woo! I've loved this stuff since I was a kid. Me and my friends used to run around the playground holding sticks and pretending to be wizards. In fact, this one kid, Josh, and his family were super into Harry Potter as well, so much so that the mom made it a rule that you couldn't point a wand at someone and say the killing curse. You do know that magic isn't real, right? Yeah, they were a weird family. They were also all redheads, just like the Weasleys. So that was the first red flag. I'm kidding. Hair color stereotypes are not nice. Gingers do have souls.
Whatever you say, stupid blonde.
That one is actually true in my case. I'm still gonna beat you up, though. I understand. Look, I'm feeling generous today, so I'm gonna give you a pass. But know this. If you ever cross me again, I will end you. Understood? Understood. Thank you. Also, one time on the trampoline, Josh got gum in my hair, and I never forgave him for that. Avada Kedavra! Oh shoot, magic is real. He's just tired. I also loved it when my parents would let me get Harry Potter Legos, because then I got to build the magical world I loved so much. I liked being able to build cool stuff. Legos are cool. Wow, Bryson, you still build Legos? Grow up. Legos are toys. I warned you.
It's a highly sophisticated interlocking brick system.
The box for this one said ages 8 to 14.
That's a suggestion.
Anyway, back to Harry Potter. The sorting ceremony will now begin. Mr. Bryson, please step forward. Oh, I know just what to do with you. Hufflepuff!
Why are you crying?
Not gonna lie, I was pretty upset when I took the online test and figured out that I really am a Hufflepuff, aka a disappointment. I was also sad when I turned 11 and didn't receive a Hogwarts acceptance letter. Turns out Hogwarts isn't real. It's a hard pill that you just gotta swallow. The reality shifting community is still struggling with that one. Actually, Bryson, reality shifting is real. This TikTok told me so, and you can project your consciousness to other realities and— Nope, not real. Moving on. Harry Potter will always hold a special place in my heart because it inspired me to be a creative and imaginative person. And that the most powerful magic of all is love. I love you. The power, it's too much! See? Look how powerful my love is. He's fine, by the way. He's just tired. Actually, that gives me an idea. Hey, Voldemort! You dare utter my name, you filthy mudblood! I love you! See? Love! Woohoo! Now let's go on a date, Harry. Wait, Harry Potter isn't real. Ha ha ha! Anyways, they made an entire theme park of Harry Potter, and it's freaking awesome and magical, and I like it. In fact, when I went there, I got chosen to do the wand shop ceremony thing. Give the wand a wave, and we'll see if it's meant for you. Wingardium Leviosa! He's just tired. Next obsession, animals. I used to love catching frogs and then racing them against each other. If my friend had a pet, I would insist on holding it and petting it. In fact, my discovery of YouTube was just me watching videos of hamsters for hours on end and begging my parents to let me get one. And eventually, they finally caved and got me one. The day I got him, me and my family were watching the Bee Movie. So I named my hamster Barry, short for Barry B. Benson, of course. But then I decided to introduce Barry to my dog Duke, without consulting my parents. Rest in peace, Duke. Duke slowly sat down, gave him a sniff, and very gingerly murdered Barry right in front of me. Mom! And that's why I don't watch the Bee Movie anymore. Rest in peace, Barry. The next morning, Mom took me to the pet store and got me another one. I named him Oreo, and he lived a long, happy, natural hamster life of 2 years. They don't live that long. Also, one time I was at a friend's house, and he had 2 little twin brothers. They were given 2 pet guinea pigs the day before, but they had already died because the boys were convinced that guinea pigs could fly, so they took them on the trampoline and tested their theory. Rest in peace. Anyway, at that time, I also had a pet guinea pig named Link, and the boys with tears in their eyes asked, "Our guinea pigs died. Can we have your guinea pig?" And that was when I learned the valuable lesson of how to say no to people. Speaking of death, I've mentioned that my parents keep chickens in the backyard, and one of them is named Ham. Well, Ham is actually Ham 2. Rest in peace, Ham 1. My sister's dog got her. On a more positive note, meet my new son. His name is Bo, and he's a dog. How can a dog be my son? He's adopted. Duh. He is cute, and I love him, and you should love him too. Him and our family dog Dixie are friends, but Dixie is getting pretty old, so he's a little too high energy for her sometimes. I've been bombarding my friends with pictures of Bo, and they are so tired of it. So now, I can bombard you with them. Look at him. He's so cute. Bo is 2 years old, and I rescued him from an animal shelter in January of this year. And I'm glad to have him. He can be a stinker, though. He is a total thief. He steals stuff off the counter all the time, and he chews on stuff he's not supposed to chew, but I'm working on training him the best I can. However, one time I had to go to the store, so I left Bo home in his crate. He had been doing good in the crate the last few times I left him in there, so I thought we were gonna be okay. But this time was different. Instead of accepting his fate like usual, he spent all his energy trying to get out of the crate by biting it from the inside. And in doing so, he broke one of his bottom teeth. I was so sad. Bo was no longer perfect. So what did I do? I flushed him down the toilet, of course. No, but I was really sad that he hurt himself in the crate, so I actually want to get him a tooth replacement. He's honestly such a silly baby boy, and I love him so much. He's very handsome, and I get compliments on him all the time. Hey, that's a good-looking dog. Sick him! That was a joke. He's very friendly with people and other dogs. So, this video was all about my childhood obsessions, but I have a confession. All of these obsessions have persisted into adulthood. I still love animals, and I still love trains. I'm not obsessed with Thomas anymore, but I still just like the way steam trains look. I even have 2 electric trains, the Polar Express and the Hogwarts Express. Also, so far as animals go, I've got Bo and my 2 pet tortoises, and that's me restraining myself. I want a pet pig, a pet duck, and a parrot, and a lizard, and another dog. I mean, I moved out of my parents' house, so I can do whatever I want, but I gotta hold back so that my home doesn't become a zoo. And I'm also still obsessed with Harry Potter. I've got like all the Lego sets of them, and I carved and painted my own wand, and I rewatch all the movies once every few months. So, since all my childhood obsessions have persisted, we can conclude that I am still a child. A little baby man. Ha ha, stupid baby! Wait, what? You've become so predictable, Bryson. Now it's my turn.
Bryson, your dad and I decided that all you boys are gonna be Eagle Scouts because we believe this will help prepare you for the real world, be a huge accomplishment, and help launch you into adult life.
No thanks. I don't like doing scout camps. It's too intense for me.
Hi there.
Hi, I'm Bryson, and my parents forced me to occasionally sleep outside in the middle of nowhere and called it Boy Scouts, despite my massive amount of weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. And oh boy, do I have some stories about it. But as a gateway, they had me do Cub Scouts. The best thing I could say about Cub Scouts was that at least it was more chill. It was more like, okay kids, today we're gonna do some bird watching and learn to tie a knot. But then Boy Scouts were like,
build an ice igloo and sleep in it, or you'll die.
good luck! Seriously, the scout camps were so lawless. The only laws we followed were the laws of nature. Why were these adults giving 12-year-olds the power of fire? One year, when my dad was a scout leader, he woke up to see that the boys had started a bonfire and were jumping through it.
Stop! What are you boys thinking?
We were testing our courage, Bryson's dad. We were also testing Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection. If any of us are too weak, we'll fall in the fire and die, which will clean the gene pool, making the next generation stronger.
What? Okay, that kind of makes sense. All right, let me join in. Woohoo!
Oh, looks like we lost one.
I was eased into scouts at a thing called Cub Scout Day Camp, where you would show up, do activities as a group like the Rain Gutter Regatta, Duck Duck Goose, and tying knots. Then, at night, your parents would pick you up and take you back to your air-conditioned house. So you didn't actually have to sleep in the dirt. I remember being so jealous of the kids who had Lunchables. I was sitting there with a BLT sandwich with apple slices, a homemade cookie in the shape of a heart, and a handwritten note from my mom telling me how much she loved me. And meanwhile, Tyler had this. What a ripoff! But now, in retrospect, I'm grateful that my mom cared enough to pack me a lunch. One activity we did was we were going to learn how to make paper from, like, only stuff found in nature. We were gonna be the Bear Grylls of paper making. I was so excited to learn. But then we got there and they said,
Okay, class, here's how to make homemade paper. First, grab some toilet paper, get it wet, mold it into the shape you want, let it dry, then you've got paper.
like, excuse me? That's like saying,
Here's how to make a chair from scratch. First, grab a chair, and voila, you've made a chair.
one useful thing they taught me was how to safely carve wood with a knife. Always aim the sharp end away from your body, and then stick the sharp end into another scout to conquer them. I was cruising through the Cub Scout ranks. Tiger, wolf, bear, Weebelo. Still don't know what that is. But then I had to evolve from a fun, relaxed Cub Scout into a hard, manly Boy Scout. And that meant going on campouts where I had to sleep in the wilderness. Dun, dun, dun! Going on scout camps was really scary and anxiety-inducing for me. I was a really sensitive kid, so even just one-night camping trips were a nightmare for me. I was small and weak, so I couldn't hike as far as the other boys. I had gone on a few one-night trips begrudgingly, but when they announced a week-long backpacking/camping trip, I begged my parents to let me stay home in the air conditioning and indoor plumbing. After much deliberation, they finally said I could stay home. I was so relieved. But then I stupidly tried to push my luck. This was around the time that the Nintendo 3DS was the hot thing that I desired more than anything in the whole world. So I asked, Mom, Dad, can I get a 3DS, please?
I'll buy you a 3DS.
Really?
If you go to scout camp.
No! Can't I just get it for Christmas or something?
No. If you want one, you need to go on this scout camp. Show us how unreliant you are on technology, and in return, we'll buy you more technology.
This was such an ordeal for little me. I wanted the 3DS so much, but I despised scout camp. My mind raced trying to figure out a solution. Maybe I'll mow people's lawns for money and do lemonade stands. I'll save up the money to buy it myself.
No! If you don't go on this scout camp, so long as you live under my roof, you will never own a 3DS. I won't let you buy one even if you earn your own money.
This was a huge blow. I was devastated, and tragically, this was during the time when I still thought adults knew everything. And for some reason, I assumed that Dad could actually enforce this outlandish rule. I was trapped. I had to go. My parents said that the only way I could get a 3DS was if I went on this trip. Your parents are buying you a 3DS for this? My parents forced me to go or I'd be grounded all summer. Anyway, you want some cold pizza sauce and cheese on a cracker from my Lunchable? And then every morning we woke up, packed everything up, and hiked for like 12 miles every day. Then set up camp again. And I hated hiking. Everyone was always like, what a great view. But I was like, the view is never worth it. But nowadays, I like hiking and views. Of course, my legs are so long now that I only have to take 3 steps and I'm there. But back then, I had little legs. I was so small and weak that the other scouts had to help carry my stuff, and I still feel bad about it. I'm so sorry for being small and useless, guys. I honestly wonder why I didn't get called a twerp more often, because I was one. It was probably a good thing I was so shy and quiet, because if I had let my true annoying self shine through, the other scouts probably would have killed me with hammers while the leaders laughed and said, "Ha ha ha, boys will be boys." Ma'am, your son is throwing rocks at the other children's heads.
Oh, boys will be boys.
No, teach them how to not do stupid stuff. Billy, stop throwing rocks and be nice.
But I love myself just the way I am.
Well, the way you are right now sucks. Do better. Try harder.
No!
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher.
Honestly, as much as I bellyached about it, having my friends there to talk to made it pretty fun. Not to mention being bribed meant at least one good thing would come of all this. We hiked, sang, caught frogs, and made a shelter out of sticks and bark to get our wilderness survival badge. Looking back though, it was funny how I always wanted to do my own thing, regardless of what the other boys were doing. They all decided to go skinny dipping in a pond, and I was like, no way am I doing that! But then, Travis lost his swimsuit in the pond and had to streak back to his tent, and we later learned that the pond had leeches in it. The other boys wanted to stay up and make s'mores, and the leaders were gonna teach us some life lesson about not swimming in leech-infested waters or something. And I was like, no, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Then on the drive home, we stopped at a burger place, and our leaders challenged us all to eat a burger with 4 patties. But I knew my weak stomach couldn't handle that, so I said, no thank you, and got a normal burger. And then everyone told me to go to college, and I was like, no, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. And then the IRS told me to stop committing felony tax evasion, and I said, try and stop me. That's a joke, I love paying my taxes. But I did it. I finished the trip. Then I got home and was given a 3DS. Yippee! I'm never going camping again! The The next big scout trip I was forced to go on was at this huge camp where tons of other scout troops would visit. We arrived and this older scout came up to us. He held out his walking stick, pushed me aside, and said, "Get out of my way." In scouts, there's a hierarchy among the boys where the older boys are allowed to be mean to the younger boys. However, I also had a glaring physical flaw that always had me at the bottom of the list. I was small, so even the younger scouts could beat me up. This boy was an assistant leader at the camp, and it was immediately apparent to me that he was the type of guy to get 1 micron of authority and let it go directly to his head and abuse his power. But he was older and that made him better than us. At least in his mind. I think it's really neat that you've earned all these merit badges, buddy, but I think you're missing some of the most important ones. And those are the emotional maturity badge, the coping with insecurity badge, and the going to therapy badge. Which is what I would have said if I had any confrontation skills. Instead, I kind of just observed his arrogant attitude and silently judged him. And then years later made fun of him online in a YouTube video. Haha, who's laughing now? Anyway, the leaders took us to our campsite and all of us slept in this rickety wooden structure filled with bunk beds. Then we went to a ton of merit badge classes and filled out packets. Great, we're just doing homework in the woods! But at least we had some downtime to just play card games together. However, one time while we were playing, this one kid, Sean, somehow fell out of his top bunk, did a flip through the air, and slammed into the ground. Anyways, got any fours? No. I continued through the Boy Scout ranks reluctantly and against my will, and I had to get interviewed to become a Life Scout. But in case you forgot, I was a shy little guy. The scout leaders asked me what I learned and what requirements I did and blah blah blah. Then one of the leaders said, "Can I give you some advice? You could work on your eye contact." Oh. And from that point on, I've been really good at eye contact. Sometimes being told to cut it out is the solution. Look at my eyes! Look at them! See into my soul! The next big camp was a few years later. I was 16 and the leaders were like, "Hey kids, today we're gonna learn how to shoot a shotgun." And this was at a point where I still thought adults had it all figured out, so I was like, okay. Seriously, why were they letting 16-year-old boys wield shotguns? Luckily, we were okay, but what if one of the boys was feeling a little rambunctious that day? Or if they let their intrusive thoughts win? Young boys don't understand consequences yet. I'm 22 and I still don't understand them. Anyway, they gave me the gun and threw a clay pigeon for me to shoot. I hit it! My very first shot, and I hit it! And then I missed the next 9 shots. 10% ain't bad. It's better than most of my school assignments. Then it came time to do an Eagle Scout project. So with a lot of help from my parents, I built some shelves to help my middle school organize their theater stuff. I had done it. I earned the rank of Eagle Scout. And now I love camping. I'm so prepared for the real world now. Can we see your resume? And what experience do you have that you believe will help you excel in this role? I don't have a resume or any applicable experience, but check out this square knot though. Honestly though, I don't think I deserve this award. I can't even start a fire on my own. And I'm not very trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, or reverent. My mom was the one that pushed for it, and I guarantee you that without her constant help with merit badges, camping gear, packing lists, and encouragement, I would not have earned this. She also helped my 3 brothers earn their awards, and I guarantee you that she can survive in the wilderness longer than me. She's the real Eagle Scout, not me. And so, by the power vested in me, by me, I officially revoke my Eagle Scout status and I award it to my mom. The moral of the story is that it's okay for your parents to force you to try new things sometimes. Maybe you'll make a video about it later. Okay, that's all the time I've got. I've got to get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS.
Hey bud, I know the dentist's office can be a little scary, but don't worry, you're in good hands. Let me help you into that seat, and then after I'm done, I'll let you pick a toy from the toy chest.
Okay.
Does this hurt?
No.
What about this?
A little.
Uh-huh, and this?
Ow!
How about this? And a little bit of that? And this?
Help, Mom! Help!
What about this? Huh? Does that hurt? How about some of this? Does that hurt? Does this hurt? He did such a good job. Look at that smile.
Oh, what a pretty smile. Good job, sweetheart. I'll get you a treat on the way home.
Don't forget to floss. That way, next time won't hurt as bad.
Hi, I'm Bryson, and like many people, I have a mouthful of teeth. And with that comes some dental-related trauma. To put it lightly, these pearly whites didn't come without a little suffering. Let's start at the beginning. Little Bryson was irresponsible and had gotten a few cavities from eating too much Halloween candy, and Mom took me to the dentist to get the affected baby teeth removed. The numbing shot hurt pretty bad at first, but then I couldn't feel a thing. I guess that's why they call it a numbing shot.
Okay, bye. Don't eat anything for 3 hours or you'll bite your tongue.
On the drive home, I was fascinated with the numb sensation in my mouth, wiggling my tongue around and stuff. Then little old me thought it would be fun to bite my tongue lightly. It was so weird to not feel anything. The numbing shot had made me invincible. As many of you know, I was a very late bloomer. All the other kids got bigger and stronger, and I just didn't. This also caused me to lose my baby teeth very late. At 12 years old, I still had several baby teeth. Then one day, my mom took me to an orthodontist, and he gave her his spiel about how acting early can help a lot and blah, blah, blah. She was sold, and they glued some braces on me, while I still had baby teeth. Why are you putting braces on them? They're just gonna fall out. I guess lying to my mom, taking her money, and causing me a ton of physical pain without even fixing anything was worth getting paid. That dude was definitely lying through his teeth. Regardless, I wasn't old enough to unlock free will, so it wasn't up to me. So I was resigned to 2 years of braces scraping into my lips, food getting stuck in them all the time, and terrible pain every time the rubber bands got changed. Ow! Oh, and by the way, you can't eat popcorn for 2 years. But that wasn't even the worst of it. During this time, the orthodontist decided that I needed even more metal in my mouth and introduced my mom to the palate expander. The purpose of the palate expander was not to introduce you to a wider variety of flavors, but to widen your back teeth so they have more room to work with to make your smile nice and straight. The process begins with the orthodontist gently and lovingly jamming rubber bands in between your teeth and letting them slowly push your teeth apart, giving you a piercing headache and ruthless insomnia. Then he uses the space created by the rubber bands to jam this diabolical metal contraption around your teeth. And then every week it gets cranked 3 times to push your teeth further apart and cause horrible pain. I hated this thing so much. It hurt all the time, it crowded my mouth, it hurt when my tongue touched it, and food would get stuck in between the expander and the roof of my mouth. Braces already ruined the joy of food. I don't need more crevices for food to get stuck. Not to mention how annoying it is for your tongue to know exactly where the food is stuck, but then you reach in and your finger can't find it. The food is stuck right there.
Where?
It's right here.
I can't find it.
Ah! This phenomenon is known as the tongue-finger disconnect, and I hate it. Eventually, 2 painful years had passed. They took all the metal out of my mouth, and I felt like my shackles were broken, I was free, and I could finally eat popcorn again. In fact, one day I was eating popcorn. I only had 1 baby tooth left, and the adult tooth was coming in under it, making it loose. I sat there eating popcorn, and I accidentally chewed on an unpopped kernel. The baby tooth had broken in half between the adult tooth and the kernel. But I couldn't let that calcium go to waste.
So good and tasty?
I finally had all my adult teeth, and my dental troubles were over. Or so I thought. A year later, my family moved. I thought I was in the clear until Mom took me to another orthodontist.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the first set of braces really did anything. I mean, only an idiot would put braces on baby teeth. Yeah, I would recommend getting new braces now that the adult teeth are in.
That's what I was saying! Why did we even put the first set of braces on? Basically, I was gonna have braces on for 4 years because the first braces didn't actually do anything.
Bryson, I think we should do it. I want you to have a pretty smile.
I think you should do it too, Bryson. I'll make a lot of money if you do.
Guys, my smile is fine.
Well, let's look at the x-rays. You have a pretty pronounced overbite that causes a lot of problems later in life. You should be grateful that your mom wants to pay to fix your teeth. You kind of have like a Bart Simpson lip going on, and we would want to get that fixed.
This guy literally body shamed me into getting braces again by comparing me to a cartoon character. But I am a cartoon character, so why am I even wearing these? I can just draw myself with perfect teeth. And to correct my Bart Simpson lip, I had to not only get another palate expander, but also rubber bands to pull my lower jaw forward.
So, how was your week, bud?
I hate you.
So, 2 more horrendous years of pain ensued. Cranking my teeth apart, wearing rubber bands, and getting food stuck in my teeth all over again. It couldn't come fast enough, but the day finally came. I was completely free.
Yeah, I'm noticing that these teeth are rather small. What we could do is remove them and move all these teeth forward to fill its place.
At this moment, pure malice and rage boiled up inside me. I refused to be imprisoned again. Shut up! Shut up!
What?
I already had them on for 4 years. I'm done. I won't let you body shame me into giving you more of my mom's money so you can torture me for another 2 years. So we ran out, and 2 of my teeth are a little smaller than they should be. Oh no, what a nightmare. I'd much rather keep them as is than do this. I was finally safe. The orthodontist couldn't hurt me anymore. I had a nice smile, and I never had to go back to the orthodontist again. But then, my mom got braces and a palate expander because she wasn't happy with her smile. I guess the body shaming worked. And soon after getting them, she said,
I was not sympathetic enough to you guys when you wore these. These hurt.
Did you think I was lying? Of course they hurt. But now we both have great smiles. I guess pain really is beauty. It takes a lot of work to look this good. But at least it's over now.
Hey, by the way, I just scheduled your wisdom teeth removal surgery.
Wisdom teeth. Why do they call them wisdom teeth? Those teeth are obviously stupid idiots because they're going the wrong freaking way. Vestigial structures, useless body parts, are so stupid, and some of them actually hurt you. Your appendix can blow up and kill you for no reason. Your wisdom teeth sprout out of nowhere and ruin your other straight teeth. And don't even get me started on the tailbone. These things have no purpose. That's just bad character design. Basically, these dumb teeth were dooming me to another appointment with pain. I sat in the chair and I wanted to try and resist the sleep medication, but it went more like this. Okay, this medication is gonna make you a little sleepy. I can resist this easily.
And you're done.
Oh, what? It seriously just felt like... Then my face swelled up and I lived on the couch for 2 weeks off mashed potatoes, applesauce, and ice cream. So, it wasn't all bad. And that was my dental journey. It definitely hurt and there were some questionable decisions made, but at least that orthodontist can afford a pool in his backyard now. All in all, I'm actually grateful to have nice teeth, and I'm very lucky that my mom loved me enough to fix these chompers, because my bite attack does way more damage now. Yeah!
What's his deal?
We don't know. We just try to avoid him. He's a homeschooled kid. Oh. Hi, I'm Bryson, and I was a homeschooled kid, and...
That explains a lot.
How did I not see it earlier?
See? Told ya.
Thank you. Hey, rude. There's such an unfair stigma against homeschooled kids. Everyone just thinks we're weird and cringe. But most homeschooled kids grow up to be well-adjusted members of society, and we're also usually smarter than average. usually. Weird homeschooled kid is a reductionist stereotype that puts people like me in little boxes. You did pick the right box though, I will admit. Looks like I do fit the stereotype there. Add it to the list right under dumb blonde. I was homeschooled until the 6th grade, and in all honesty, it was a great fit for me. According to this personality test I took, I am 96% introverted, so the calm of my home was a much better learning environment for me. My mom even had me try public elementary school, and I really didn't like it. Large crowds of people just inflict psychic damage on me or something. I'm pretty shy when getting to know people, and then all of a sudden, boom, I become the silliest goose of all time. You can tell how comfortable I am around you based on how annoying I'm being. There's a direct correlation there. Because of this, I've always had a small but very close circle of friends that I really connect well with. But when I was young, I didn't know how to make friends, so I was given a pre-packaged, parent-approved circle of friends because our moms were friends and they'd get together and let us Rugrats play. Hey guys, let's pretend we're wolves! Yeah! Luckily, I grew out of this, unlike some of you. My mom did a great job teaching me. She made learning fun with field trips and games, and the one-on-one teaching worked very well for me. I couldn't do what she did. I'm horrified by how quickly my future kids' math homework will be beyond my knowledge. Instead of experiencing the rite of passage of crying at the kitchen table as their dad tries to help them with their math assignment, they'll have the unique experience of crying with their dad about the math assignment. What is 7 times 6? I'm genuinely asking. I don't know what it is. I don't know! Another thing that amazes me about my mom is that whenever we had to move, she would plan these amazing cross-country road trips and make a vacation of it. We saw Mount Rushmore, Yellowstone, the Liberty Bell, Four Corners, Redwood National Parks, and all kinds of fun stuff. I can't imagine planning a big trip like that while raising 5 kids, teaching them how to read and do math, feeding them, and keeping them from fighting. And to make things worse, she didn't even have GPS. She had to print out directions from MapQuest and just pray that she wouldn't make a wrong turn and get lost. I could not have survived that. If there isn't a blue line showing me exactly where I need to go, I simply won't make it to my destination. People often think that homeschooled kids are really good at math and science, but really bad at social interaction. Unfortunately, I'm just bad at both of them. And I know I'm not the only one who feels inadequate watching those documentaries about gifted kids. They're all like,
at age 2, he was already speaking English and Spanish fluently. By age 6, he already graduated high school valedictorian. And by age 10, he had a doctorate in neuroscience and astrophysics. And just last month, he earned a Nobel Prize. If someone made a documentary about me, it would be more like, at age 2, he finally learned to walk. By age 6, he learned how to not spill chocolate milk. And by age 10, he was already drawing silly little pictures. The only time I remember being good at something in real school was a geography test, because my mom taught me a handy song to remember all 50 states. And I was also good at Punnett squares. So, if both your parents have the AB positive blood type, you having the O negative blood type doesn't make sense. This means either you have a mutated gene, or your dad isn't really your dad. Spending more time at home definitely helped develop my creativity. I was an imaginative kid by nature, but having art supplies, books, and toys while having access to a big backyard definitely nurtured my imagination. I seriously used to go outside and just vividly hallucinate that I was on a magical adventure. And when my friends came over to play, we would get on the trampoline and one of them would say, pretend the trampoline is a spaceship and that we're astronauts. And so far as I was concerned, it was real. Alright, cadets. Today we're gonna be doing hyperspace training. Be sure to follow all protocols before charting a course. Cadet Josh, take the wheel. Okay, I'll take us to the stuffed animal galaxy. Boop. You fool! We can't get to the stuffed animal galaxy directly. We'll have to make a detour in the petting zoo galaxy to avoid the cookie crumb asteroid belt. If we go straight there, the asteroids will destroy the ship. The controls are jammed. I can't turn it off. We're gonna crash. Everyone, get to an escape pod. Access denied. The escape pods are locked. It's too late. You fool! You've killed us all! No!
Kids, you okay?
Can't you see that the spaceship exploded and we're dead now, Mom?
Oh, that's nice.
But my imagination did not stop there. I used to grab a bowl from the kitchen, go outside, gather an assortment of nature's finest materials into a bowl. Grass, leaves, herbs, berries, you name it. And I would pretend I was brewing a magical potion. Mom, drink this. It'll turn you into a giraffe.
No thanks. I'll just stick with my sandwich.
Fine, I'll drink it.
Bryson, don't!
Wow, it really worked. Ooh. Ooh. Having a powerful imagination was a good thing in many ways, but this also meant that I was scared very easily. Taking the trash out in the dark felt like a life or death experience. I was convinced that an evil clown or alien would kill me if I didn't do it as fast as I could. And of course, when I turned out the last light in the house, I had to run to my room as fast as I could so that a shadow demon wouldn't catch me. Even as an adult, I avoid horror movies. It's just not worth it to me. I'd rather be happy and sleep well. But I wasn't just susceptible to scary things in movies. I also fell victim to fear-mongering stories designed to make me more obedient from my parents.
This is Santa. If you're a good boy, he'll give you a present at Christmas.
Awesome!
And this is the boogeyman. If you're a bad boy and disobey us, he'll kill you. Slowly and painfully. He'll violently rip your arms off and use them to bash your head in.
My dad really told me that if I played too many games on the GameCube, that it would take over my mind and I'd never be able to stop playing. This scared me to my core, and it's the reason I didn't start playing a lot of video games until I was 14. But there is something to be said about how good it was for me to play outside all the time. I am grateful that I didn't fry all my dopamine receptors with an iPad at age 5. Instead, I spent my time in glorious nature eating dirt. Having fictional fears that never came true was one thing, but even the real life stuff that I was scared of never came true. I honestly thought I would be on fire way more than 0 times. What's the point of knowing stop, drop, and roll if I never get to use it? Quicksand, tornadoes, the Bermuda Triangle, and piranhas haven't been an issue either. What I should have been scared of was housing prices and taxes. No one warned me about that. When I was 5, I was wasting my time watching Thomas the Tank Engine when I should have been investing in real estate. I probably could have purchased this house for 6 Lincoln Logs and a stick of gum, but now it costs $2 million. I'm such an idiot. But I digress. Plus, I'm not dead yet. The quicksand and tornadoes still have a chance to get me. While at school, my house, my teacher, my mom, would give me writing assignments. One of these assignments requested that I write a sentence with at least 50 letters in it, but I decided that was too hard, so to make it easier on myself, I wrote this. Look, Mom, it has 50 letters, just like you said. Even then, I was such a creative problem solver, but for some reason, my mom called it cheating. My mom even sent me to this art class at this lady's house with my friends, and she gave us all kinds of fun projects like paper mache, watercolors, and collages, etc. I'm so glad I developed a love of art at such a young age, because art is such an amazingly fulfilling hobby, and I'm so lucky to be able to do it as a job. And now, I have an amazing superpower. I can imagine anything I want and make it real by drawing it, see? But one of my art projects backfired badly. I decided that the next time I visited my friends, that I wanted us all to pretend that we were Sonic characters. My brother Brody had shown me how to draw Sonic, so I drew a bunch of Sonics with different props and different colors. I basically drew a bunch of Sonic OCs, do not steal. And I wanted to staple the papers together into a book so that I could bring it to my friend's house and we could all pick which one we wanted to pretend to be. I grabbed the stapler and I stapled it directly onto my thumb. And at that moment, I finally understood why cartoon injuries were animated like this. Because that's how it felt.
My finger has a heartbeat.
Like I said earlier, it was fun to play with the other homeschooled kids. But a frustrating part was that I was usually the one to pitch the game that we should play next. And it usually went something like this. How about we play tag? No. How about we play wizards? No. How about we play hide and go seek? I'll only play if Jenna plays. I'll only play if Rachel plays. I'll only play if Josh plays. Please just say yes, Josh. Everything is riding on you. I don't want to play. But then it was time to move again. I said goodbye to my friends, we did another cross-country road trip, and arrived at our new house in California. I made some new friends in the neighborhood, and it was time for me to take on public school. And I hated it. But it's okay to hate things, it builds character. Plus, my grades were really good if we're going by golf rules. And having my friends with me made it a lot easier. And now I am a very well-rounded, well-adjusted, socially adept young man. Yeah, me and my cousin were hanging out, and we built a Lego set the other day. You like Lego? I love Legos. Did you know that Lego was invented in 1932 in Denmark by a man named Ole Kurt Christiansen? Originally, they were just wooden toys, but eventually they started making interlocking plastic bricks to create a system in which all their toys could be linked together. Despite many hardships, including their factory burning down, Ole and his family persevered and continued to manufacture the unique brick system. Then in 1978, the Lego minifigure as we know it was created. Minifigures are a high-value collector's item. In fact, a recent study showed that buying Lego sets was a better investment than the stock market because of how well they hold their value. This means that buying and building Lego sets isn't just a fun hobby, it's a smart way to use your money. Guys?
It's a Wii!
Wow, this is gonna be so fun.
Look, the Me channel. I want to make a Me.
Don't worry, I'll make one for you. You're probably too dumb to figure it out.
What?
I said you're too young to figure it out. And there. That's what you look like.
Hi, I'm Bryson, and today we're gonna talk about how a fun childhood hobby slowly devolved into a hellish war of spiteful competition. How the shame and humiliation of losing festered inside me and drove me to do anything in my power to destroy my siblings. I'm talking, of course, about the Italiano Paisano himself, Mario. But before we delve into my villain arc, let's go back to a simpler time, when I was taking my first baby steps into the world of video games. It was all so new to me. It felt like I was a cosmic pioneer exploring a different galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy, the game where you traverse the universe as everyone's favorite Italian plumber. If you haven't played this game yet, change that immediately. When I play this game now, it feels like that scene from Ratatouille. Hello! It enthralled me as a child with its constant stream of new and inventive platforming ideas. After watching Brody play Galaxy for a while, I decided to graduate from game watcher to game player. Move over, Brody. Mom said it's my turn on the Xbox. Immediately, the soundtrack in this game changed my brain chemistry forever. The people who made this music know what joyous whimsy sounds like. When I hear Gusty Garden Galaxy, it makes me believe that anything is possible. The room fades away, I float into the air, and I enter the world of the game. This was one of the first video games I ever played, so I had a lot to learn. Jumping between gravity-defying planets and walking upside down took a lot of getting used to. I collected a few stars and then headed to the Loop-de-Loop Galaxy. And let me tell you, this level broke little Bryson. In the level, you ride around a floating water race course on a Stingray. But I wanted to get the high score. I wanted to go fast. So my thumb never let go of the acceleration button, and that meant I couldn't make sharp turns. I kept flying off the map and dying. And to make it worse, I had to use motion controls. I couldn't beat it no matter how hard I tried. I started crying and Brody had to help me beat the level. This will go down in history as mankind's second greatest defeat involving stingrays. But after that little hiccup, I was ready to take on the rest of the game and lose to Bowser 50 times. But Brody, being a seasoned veteran gamer, coached me on how to perfectly time my spin moves, and I used them to spin Bowser like a Beyblade. So long, Bowser! I was feeling pretty good about my newly acquired gaming skills. Beating Bowser as a child is a big deal, okay? At that age, what else do you have to be proud of? The drawings you made that Mom hung up on the fridge? Well, bad news. Mom will throw those crappy drawings away while you're not looking. But the achievement of defeating the king of the Koopas, that lasts forever. Then I arrived at the Rolling Green Galaxy. That sounds like a fun, easy, kid-friendly level. Not! If the Stingray race broke me, this one shattered me. In the level, you bounce on a ball that has a star inside it and use motion controls to lead the ball through obstacles and past Goombas to reach the end and unlock the star. and I just couldn't do it. I kept falling off, which made me impatient, which made me go faster, which made me fall off more, and the cycle just continued. At 6 years old, I just did not have the coordination or fine motor skills to beat this thing, but I was determined. I didn't want to ask Brody for help again. I wanted to be a big boy gamer. I hunkered down and died over and over for an hour straight. But then finally, I got past the spot where I usually fell. I was close to the end. I shakily crossed a bridge and the flag came into view. My hands were shaking. The adrenaline was pumping. I could almost taste my victory. I launched over to the last island. I had made it. I tilted my Wiimote all the way forward, but... No! I literally tripped at the finish line. My confidence was shattered, and I had to go collect myself in the other room. But I would not let this fiery crucible break me. I would allow it to forge me into something stronger. I stepped back in and entered Ultra Instinct mode, and I finally beat it. And that's when I felt it. The gamer's high. All my dopamine receptors fired, and I jumped for joy.
This is the greatest day of my life!
I had emerged victorious and was ready to take on the universe, literally. I cruised through the rest of the galaxies. Nothing could hold me back. An icy hot galaxy where you skate around and fight a lava octopus? No problem. A haunted mansion galaxy where you save Luigi? Light work. A galaxy made of toys where you run across twisting platforms shaped like Mario? Child's play.
Light work, no reaction. Light work, no reaction. Light work, no reaction.
Okay, it's not a little kick. Oh!
All my nightmares had materialized. It was an even harder version of the previous one. Skipping ahead through 2 hours of pain and agony, and I finally beat it.
Yahoo!
I'm honestly convinced that this game widened my emotional range. It's like Newton's third law. The more suffering you experience, the more capacity you have for joy. And believe me when I tell you, those levels had me suffering. Then I saved Princess Peach or whatever. This game's revolutionary gravity mechanics, top-tier level design, and whimsical soundtrack earn it an easy 100 Bryson points. But we couldn't have the game that sent Mario to space without the game that sent Mario into a whole different dimension. Super Mario 64, an all-time classic. It paved the way for so many games to enter the third dimension. I'm still waiting for Super Mario 65 to come out though. I literally can't describe the pure primal fear little Bryson experienced when seeing that giant chain chomp for the first time. And don't even get me started on that Koopa the quick race. I hate this stupid turtle so much. I just couldn't beat him. But then, one day, Brody let me in on a little secret. He's gonna win the race again!
You see that little hole in the wall? Go in.
How is this supposed to...
Oh my god! Oh!
You see that beam of light? Look up. Follow that coin trail going into the wall.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
The sense of accomplishment and amazement at discovering these secrets for the first time was enough to form a core memory, even though I needed help to find them. It was a really nice change of pace to get help from Brody on finding secrets because usually he pulled the classic move of giving me an unplugged controller and gaslighting me into thinking I was really playing. Am I really playing? Mario isn't listening to me and this controller isn't even plugged in.
You're actually playing as that baby penguin.
Oh, cool! Back in my day, there were no video game tutorials on the internet. The only way I could learn what I needed was through rumors on the playground and hints from my brothers. So this information was very valuable. Then Brody taught me how to backwards long jump and travel at the speed of light. Obviously, this game is great, but me and my brothers usually played the remastered version on the DS. They added some mini-games that we would play together all the time. Some of my favorites were the hidden face game, the Babam sorting one, and the one where you draw little trampolines for Mario to jump on. And I think it's absolutely insane that there are definitely people out there with gambling addictions that were caused by Luigi teaching them how to do it. But there was also a multiplayer game where you fight each other to get the most stars, and my brothers and I took it very seriously.
Bryson's got 3 stars! Brayden, Brenner, get him!
Stay back! I earned these!
Sneak attack!
Mom! Brayden stole my star!
No cap? It's giving little brother energy. Brayden obviously ate with that, and you're Delulu if you think I'm gonna punish him for slaying. I gotta let him cook. Don't let your mentee bee get in the way of his dub. Just cope and take the L, for real, for real.
But the brotherly rivalry was just getting started. Let's turn up the heat and move on to the game that's been causing relationship-shattering screaming matches for decades. Mario Party, a family-friendly party game. This game introduced a whole new emotion to me. Bloodlust. One thing you should know about this game is that when I win, it's because of pure skill, but when you win, it's because you got lucky and those stupid bonus stars don't even count! When creating a game, it's important to strike a good balance between skill and luck, and in a lot of people's opinions, Mario Party is too much of a luck-based game. It's still super fun at parties if you're not taking it too seriously, which is probably why they call it Mario Party. Unfortunately, my brothers and I have no chill, so for us it was more like Mario gladiatorial combat. Our sibling rivalry seemed to leak into every aspect of our lives, and video games were no exception. Even being player one was a big deal. If my Wiimote connected first, Brody would shit his pants and disconnect all the controllers and resync them until he was player one. We also played the DS version of Mario Party on family road trips, and I remember screaming my lungs out over losing minigames. Something about this game is just a recipe for white-hot rage and malice. I guess that's why it's good at parties, because you get to see everyone's true colors. And it's always so tense when Toad announces the final score. Okay, I've got 4 stars and 46 coins. Everyone else only has 3, so I should come out on top.
Time to announce the bonus stars. The first star goes to the player that traveled the least amount of spaces, Brenner.
Okay. I still got more coins than him, so as long as he doesn't get the second one, I'll win.
And the next star goes to the player that lost the most minigames, Brenner.
I'll f***ing kill you! In one game, I was doing very well for myself. I had several stars and a whopping 270 coins. But this was the Spaceland map. If the center platform gets stepped on 5 times, Bowser's spaceship shoots a giant laser across the board. And of course, I was right in the crosshairs.
Hey! No! Stop! Just calm down! Don't do it!
I started resorting to more drastic measures to try and beat my brothers. There's a mini game where you have to mash the A button as fast as you can, and I decided to tip the scales in my favor. I grabbed a massage gun and put it on max speed on my palm, which caused my fingers to vibrate insanely fast. Then I put my finger on the A button and...
Finish! Yes! No!
As the second youngest, my older brothers were always so much better than me at everything. And honestly, so was Brenner. He was spat out the womb knowing how to use an iPad and was 360 no-scoping noobs while still in diapers. I wanted to win something for once. I just hadn't found the right game yet. Mario Kart. I don't consider myself to be a very competitive person, but as you've seen here today, video games are the exception, especially Mario Kart. Fortunately, my spirit of competition is well placed because I'm amazing at Mario Kart and you can't beat me. But I wasn't always this way. It all started, of course, with Mario Kart DS. My brothers and I would race each other for dominance, but I didn't understand the drift mechanic, so I would just kind of turn and throw bananas. And I could never beat my brothers. When they finally did show me how to drift, it took a lot of getting used to. You have to wiggle the D-pad back and forth in order to build up a charge that boosts you forward, and it was really hard for me to manage that while controlling the trajectory of my turns at such a young age. Clearly, I had much to learn. That being said, this was the first time that becoming better than my brothers at something didn't seem impossibly out of reach. I wanted to win at something for once, and I could feel the potential within myself. I wanted to be player one, so I hunkered down and continued my training arc. Wait, I'm first! I'm gonna win! Eventually, we graduated from Mario Kart DS to Mario Kart Wii. This was the one that I've played the least because, as we already established, I don't understand motion controls. Also, apparently using a bike is the only viable option because doing a wheelie is just free acceleration, so that's pretty dumb. It didn't help me develop my skills at all, but it definitely added some great tracks, and using the plastic Wiimote was real fun as a kid. Look, Mom, I'm driving!
Bryce never getting his license.
Then I entered a training grounds worthy of my potential, Mario Kart 7. They added kart customization, underwater sections, gliders, and a bunch of amazing courses. And a much better drifting system. This was definitely the best Mario Kart at the time. I learned the strategies, I learned the shortcuts, and I began to step into my power. I started to be a much bigger challenge for my brothers, and Brody and Braden could feel the reign of terror slipping away as I won more and more.
The Egyptians believed the most significant thing you could do in your life was die.
As I studied, I even found a forbidden shortcut. On the Maka Woohoo course, if you use a mushroom to boost off the track at the right angle, you'll land in an out-of-bounds area that corresponds to a much later part of the map. So, when Lakitu saves you, he thinks you're further along than you really were, so he puts you there, allowing you to skip ahead of everyone else. The first time I pulled this trick on my brothers was hilarious.
Haha, eat my dust, losers.
Little did Brody know, history was about to change. But I was just getting started. I wanted more. Then finally came Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe. They added anti-gravity mechanics and a slew of amazing courses and karts. As the games got better, so did I. But it definitely took a while for me to get used to 200cc, where the karts go insanely fast. You actually have to use the brakes in order to turn sharp enough and not fly off the track. But after I mastered that, I became unstoppable.
You're weak, just like the rest of your people. They did not deserve to exist in this world, in my world. Prepare to join them. Prepare to die!
I had demolished Brody and Braden so many times that I unlocked the final frontier of Mario Kart's skill, a forbidden technique known as item smuggling. In the game, the strongest items are given to the people in the back of the race to even things out. Basically, you purposefully hang back in the race to cycle through the best items, and then use them to take shortcuts and sweep in at the last moment to steal a victory. This strategy is especially mean because if you succeed, someone is getting teased with the chance at a first place spot for the whole race, only for you to snatch it from them in the last second. I've done this countless times to family and friends to dunk on them, and I finally fulfilled my childhood dream of being better than my brothers at something. With my enemies defeated, my thirst for victory was finally quenched. Now, I know what you must be thinking. This guy must be pretty bad at everything else if the only thing he can brag about is being good at a children's video game. And to that I say, yeah, that's pretty true. Just let me have this, please. Mario was definitely a great part of growing up, and I'll always have fond memories of playing games with my brothers, and it's been nice to finally defeat them. Little brothers gotta take what we can get. And in all seriousness, it was very sweet of Brody to always help me find hidden secrets and beat levels that were too hard for me. And I'm very happy to have so many great memories gaming with the boys.
That's so unfair.
Skill issue. Stay mad, honestly.
All right, well played. Let's play a different game.
Happy feet, wobble combo,
Whoa there, let's not be hasty. It's me, your conscience. This ain't safe. Sledding down the stairs in a cardboard box is a recipe for disaster. Hi, I'm Bryson, and like most of you, my essence currently resides in a corporeal form known as my body.
What do you mean, most of us?
Well, I didn't want to offend any ghouls, apparitions, or other ascended individuals who might be watching. The point is, I feel pain, and I can prove it. Ow. And if I've learned anything from my time here, it's that the internet was made for schadenfreude.
What's schadenfreude?
Well, it's kinda like... So, considering how many epic fail videos I've watched, I've decided to give back to the community by telling you all about my most painful experiences. Pay it forward, you know? Let's start with the ones that happened when I was young. There I was, sitting in the tub when I looked over and saw Dad's razor.
I feel like maybe I should touch that,
thought little me. And I went through the motions I had seen my dad do when he shaved his face. As you might suspect, small children and razor blades aren't a great mix. I cut myself up pretty badly and had to have a band-aid on my upper lip. It made it way harder to eat my tomato soup with fishy crackers, which was the real tragedy, let's be honest. Contrary to how I portray myself in my videos, I'm a very non-violent, go-with-the-flow kind of person, with one exception. Here it comes! But there was one other time when I wanted to solve my problems using a good old-fashioned knuckle sandwich. Brayden had been teasing me and pushing my buttons all day in classic Brayden fashion. I guess it was worse than the usual teasing because after a while, something in me snapped and I decided the time for talk was over and that I would let my fist do the talking instead. I walked across the yard, fist clenched, ready to dole out some justice. My heart was pounding. It was time for Brayden to pay for his crimes. I guess God saw what I was about to do and said,
"You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy."
So, for the time being, Brayden was safe from me. But, as you'll see later, that wouldn't last forever. Speaking of brotherly shenanigans, jumping on the trampoline with my brothers was always really fun. We would play Dead Man, have water balloon fights, and do flips. And to make things extra thrilling, they could double bounce me way higher than I could jump if I was alone. But of course, they decided to bounce me higher and higher.
Bounce him higher, together. 1, 2, 3.
And I learned my lesson and never got hurt on a trampoline again. I asked my friends to teach me how to do a backflip on their trampoline. It's kind of like a front flip, but the other way. Okay, enough talk. I got this.
Yahoo!
What is going on here?
I landed right on my head and my friends legitimately thought I had died. Somehow I was fine though, and that same day I was able to land a backflip. Little kids seem to be able to just walk away from what would have been a life-threatening injury for an adult. They're too wiggly and slippery for death to get a firm grasp on. If I landed on my head like that today, it would probably be like
multiple torn ligaments, severe nerve damage.
Now it's time for the worst pain I experienced as a child. We were at an indoor pool about to go home. Brayden opened the door and left the building, and I was right behind him. But I stopped to look back to ensure my parents were with us. And while I looked away, the door closed on my foot and ripped my big toenail completely off. Yeah! Imagine just trying to walk out a door like a normal person and the door curses you with -10 foot armor for a year. That's right, it took a year to grow back. Now imagine trying to put socks on a toenail-less toe. Instead of having armor, it's just nerve endings and despair. It sucks. Long story short, I think this is why I'm an avid flip-flop man. Now we're moving on to my more recent painful experiences. I was walking Bo to a dog park near my house. We made it to the parking lot and got a running start to jump over the divider like we always do. But I guess I wasn't locked in because my foot caught the divider and I biffed it onto the asphalt. I got up and made sure no one saw me eat it, and then realized my knee was scuffed up and bleeding. But we were already right there. Bo wanted to play with the other dogs. I wasn't gonna go all the way home without letting him play, so I just stood there watching him play while actively bleeding.
Hey, are you okay? You're bleeding.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Please stop looking at me. Can we talk about how embarrassing it is to bleed? It's so dramatic. It didn't hurt that bad. Stop crying. I don't want these strangers to know that I bleed. Blood is the body showing weakness. Now everyone knows I'm an easy target. On that note, I didn't realize how much head wounds bleed. One time, I was picking something up in my parents' utility closet, and when I stood up, my head slammed into the fuse box door. The wound itself was tiny, but it bled so much. I think it's because a lot of people keep some important stuff in their heads, and they need blood for that. But for me, it's kind of just empty space, and this little guy. Seeing how small my brain is might explain this next story. I had recently bought some new jeans, and I was taking the stickers and tags off of them. I pulled the cardboard label thing off the belt line of the jeans and noticed that the white threads they used to hold the cardboard on were still in the pants. So I decided that I would cut them off using a butter knife. I have since learned a lasting lesson about why dull knives are actually more dangerous than sharp knives because they need more force to cut things, which means there's a greater chance of, well, that. But when I was choosing which knife to use, my brain said, big sharp knife, cut dangerous. Small dull knife, less cut dangerous. So I grabbed the butter knife and got it between the threads, but it wasn't cutting. So I applied more force, the thread snapped, I lost control of the knife, and sliced my index finger. It immediately started gushing blood. It was a deep cut. I wrapped it up with gauze and tape, and then, in the classic male fashion, I thought to myself, wow, that was a deep cut, and it hurts.
I'm gonna ignore it for some reason. Like a man.
And then I went about my day. Hours later, I visited Brody and Jen to play Mario Party, and they noticed the bandage on my finger. They made me unwrap the gauze to reveal that the cut was still oozing blood.
You should go to the hospital.
Nah.
We're taking you to the hospital.
The numbing shot hurt so bad because the doctor pinched my finger, opened up the wound, and stuck the needle right up in there. But then I couldn't feel a thing, and he stitched me up. And I've got a cool scar on my finger now. And just recently, Brody got a matching scar due to a pumpkin carving mishap. And that's not the only time my finger has been hurt. I was visiting a petting zoo with my sister's family, and they gave us each a cup of animal pellets. Some llamas saw that I had food, and they came up to the fence to ask for some. I saw some people pouring the food into their hands and letting the llamas eat right off their hands, but that seemed kinda nasty to me. So I decided to hold out the cup and let the llama eat from there. But the llama lunged and bit the cup and started tugging repeatedly to try and get me to let go of the cup. But I couldn't let go because he also had my finger in his bite. Dude, let go, I'm hungry. I can't! I eventually broke free from his grasp, but he successfully got all the food I had. Now I had no food to give to the capybaras, and he learned that he could just bite people to get what he wants. Maybe I should take notes. I went to the aviary to forget my woes, but in classic Bryson fashion, I was wearing flip-flops and the birds thought my toes were food, and they all started biting my feet. I even had a scab on my foot and they ripped it off. I thought I was supposed to feed the animals, not get fed on. Let's see how you like it. Now, I've told you about my young pain and my recent pain, but there's one more category I've yet to tell you about. A startling amount of my pain took place on our seemingly innocent summertime family lake trips. My earliest boating memory was at a big family reunion. Timid little Bryson was fine just sitting in the boat, but Dad encouraged me to try wakeboarding.
Come on, it's easy. You just hang on, it'll be fun.
Okay, Dad, I trust you, I thought ignorantly. He strapped me in and tossed me in the lake. Hit it! I'm doing it! I'm doing it! Then the front edge of the board caught the water. In an instant, the insides of my sinuses and mouth became one with the lake. Not a great feeling. And that's the last time I ever wakeboarded. The risk that at any moment I could faceplant on the surface of the water at 20 miles per hour wasn't worth it to me. Next, I tried tubing, a much safer option. The concept of tubing is so hilarious to me. Whoever came up with this idea is an absolute mad lad. You tie a rope between the tube and a motorboat, hop on, and hang on for dear life. No red flags there. My mom, brothers, and I got on a big tube and were having the time of our lives. But then we saw a huge wave heading towards us. It launched us into the air and the bottom of the tube caught the wind and the tube started flying. My mom seriously did a cartwheel on the surface of the water. Needless to say, she has since lost her taste for tubing. I, however, was just getting started. Despite the pain of wiping out, the adrenaline of trying not to die while going over bumps and being whipped side to side was too intoxicating to ignore. And like a middle schooler after a bad breakup, I was ready to be hurt again. Me and my brothers were on the tube having the time of our lives when Mom turned a bit too sharply one way, then the other. The rope caught a bunch of slack and the tube slowed down. But the boat was still going, and I knew that the rope was about to gain tension and whiplash us. I sped ran the stages of grief in my mind and braced for the inevitable. The tube went from stationary to top speed in an instant. Our bodies couldn't keep up and it whipped out from under us. But that didn't stop me. After a long day of tubing, everyone was tired and wanted to go home. But I wasn't done riding that adrenaline high.
Come on, let me go again. I just need one final hit and then I'll be satisfied. I just need a fix, bro. Please, come on, please.
Since no one wanted to join me, Brody's then girlfriend, now wife, Jen, decided to throw me a bone and join me for one last ride.
Today has been so fun. I love getting to know you all better. I think I really like your brother.
Give it time. We hit a massive wave and got sent flying, and Jen accidentally pile drove the back of my head. As I crashed into the water, all I could think was, "Stay awake! Stay awake! Don't fall asleep in the water, you'll die!" Fortunately, I was okay and conscious, despite the pain.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!
Are you okay?
It feels like an ice pick is being shoved into the back of my head, and I probably have a concussion. Anyway, one more ride? Who's with me, huh? After Jen assaulted me like that, I knew she would fit right in with the rest of my family. Plus, Brody watching his girlfriend land a critical hit on his annoying little brother probably helped seal the deal. Now, as we've established, Braden is a mischievous lad who loves dunking on me. I think I just have a punchable face or something because usually his crimes against me are unprovoked. He once offered to take me on a ride on a jet ski. How nice of him, I thought to myself ignorantly. He then turned as sharp as he could without warning and skipped my body across the water. And he brought that same energy to tubing with me. I would be sitting there minding my business and he would throw me off the tube. I kind of just resigned myself to it because Braden was always stronger than me. But he kept tossing me in the water every boating trip and that caused a spark to ignite inside my soul. The next boating trip we went on, me and Braden got in a tube together.
Hey, sorry about always pushing you in the water. Let's call a truce.
Well, sure, I said. Then, as the tube whipped out to the side, I wedged my shoulders into the corner of the seat and pushed on him with my legs.
Wait, stop! I thought we had a truce!
The bill comes due.
This was the first time I had ever overpowered Braden. It was intoxicating. I guess not skipping leg day paid off. There, now we're even, I said as I helped him back into the boat.
Okay, I believe you,
Braden thought to himself ignorantly. Later, me, Dad, and Braden were on the tube and I saw a big wave coming up, and a plan formed. I braced myself, and right as we hit the bump, in the moment where Dad and Braden were weightless in the air, I kicked Dad into Braden, sending them both into the water. Me and Braden have since put the rivalry behind us and recently enjoyed a nice wake surfing trip without incident. See? It never ends! Don't worry though, I got him back. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this epic compilation of my worst pain ever. I sure didn't. But I've learned something about life in the process, and I've come to agree with this theory I heard on life. The theory is this: tragedy plus time equals comedy. And I can prove it. Trust me, kid, in a few years, this is gonna be hilarious. Just give it time.